The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the first day of November, 2021. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical Wellness One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Leanne Lambert is out today, folks. She is recovering, catching up on all the work she's been doing, folks. Y'all, I don't know if she said this on air last week, but she might have said it backstage. But Leanne was getting in like some days 1 o'clock in the morning, waking up early to do the news last week. So she's a trooper. She was gonna try to soldier it, but nah, she needs her rest, needs her break, and she will be back. You know what? I'm gonna say tomorrow, but even if she's not back tomorrow, she'll be back because folks, people need rest.
Yes, very important. And one thing that people stressed, right? You know, if you looked at Tamara's movement, she talked about sleep and how important rest is, you know. So Liana, I get it. I get it.
So
As I
basically,
sit like this.
so basically, it's just sharing me today, folks. Just sharing me. You see how they work out, you know. But Sherry, look, check this. It's November already.
Already. And the thing is, Jamal, I'm never really out in Atlanta this early. So like to walk into Target on Saturday and see all the Christmas pajama sets and this going on, I'm like, what is really going on? Like, you know, people and so everyone's like, Sherry, I'm usually not out here this early. This is what goes on, you know? I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's I on my jog this morning. Obviously, some people have the Halloween stuff up. I tell you no lies. I saw the Christmas stuff up. They were as soon as the clock hit midnight, it was all over. But good morning, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. It is World Vegan Day today, so big up to all the vegans out there. Chef Trevor is stopping by to discuss his career path as a chef. And also, we're going to be acknowledging, he's a plant-based chef. So we're going to be acknowledging some of the things that he does and some advice that he would give to people who may want to try going vegan. All right.
And as Bermudians say, his food is wow. Okay, his feed is wow.
No. That's what New Bermudians say. The old Bermudians say, "No, this feed is Val." You know, the W. No, come on now. The Daily Play is who said it today. So Sherry's going to be guessing a famous quote. So it should be fairly easy, folks. It should be fairly easy.
You say this every day.
She got it. She got the last 3 days last week, so she got it. But let's look. We've got to switch topics. Well, first off, did you have any trick or treat people yesterday?
I did have a Halloween function for work, so I did experience trick or treaters, but not at my house. No.
Oh, yeah, because all right. So a certain somebody made me get candy on Saturday. You know, normally is my candy shopping day today. And so we had some candy out in front, and then certain somebody went shopping. And so I was here to give out the candy all by myself. And it was fine. You know, I was here working, doing my thing. And then some strangers start knocking on the door looking for candy. Well, that only lasted for 10 minutes. And so I couldn't figure out, why is there all this commotion outside and nobody's coming to get the candy? Was the candy, like, did they go back and say, oh, they had candy, it's only Kit Kats and Reese's or something, right? Guess what happened?
What?
the neighbor to the left had a whole ice cream truck there. How are we
Oh,
supposed to compete? Look, I'm from the hood. We don't have ice cream trucks for Halloween.
no,
We give
but
out candy.
that was a wicked idea there. You're in
Well,
Florida, so ice cream trucks make sense, Jamal.
yeah, well, look, from where I come from, it ain't no ice cream, candy, truck, none of that stuff for Halloween. We give out candy, and if we don't give out candy, we give out popcorn. Growing up in Bermuda, popcorn and apples and stuff like that. But
Exactly.
ice cream truck, that's a whole new level for me. So anyway, folks, I still have a lot of candy that it wasn't discounted, but so I'm gonna definitely enjoy it. But on that note, hopefully you all had a safe Halloween as well. And exactly, Teresa, and it's no fair. It's no fair. I can't compete with
Did
an
you?
ice cream truck.
No, but we have to talk about real quickly and just put that in there, the poll that you did about, choose one. That was so interesting when, in regards to what candies people really like.
Well, on that note, I mean, the Daily Hour poll was asking people Snickers, candy corn, or jelly beans, right? Now, purposely, you've got two yucky ones and Snickers. I am shocked at the amount of people who watch this show that love candy corn. I was like, man, I mean, you all your taste bud, but then again, you like us, so makes sense. Carla Johnson's level up. You have a whole year to think about it.
I'm
Carla,
the candy, you're the corn.
see what she did there? Carla, we ain't competing with no ice cream truck. We're not doing it. But glad to see we have some sensible people out there who like Snickers. But look, we've got a transition. Real quick question. Now that you see Christmas stuff out there, is it okay to play Christmas music today?
Oh, Mariah Carey's, defrosting as we speak. Yeah.
Okay,
Get that Christmas stuff. Let It Snow is my favorite song, just so you know, Jamal.
okay.
It's a
Well,
hint.
I'm just letting you know. Once there's trick or treaters stopped ringing the doorbell at 6 p.m. last evening, the Christmas music went on. So I don't care what any of you say, it went on. It's pumping. But let's transition to today's discussion topic. So folks, it is World Vegan Day. Don't forget, we have Chef Trevor in the background. He'll be coming up in a bit later after the first commercial break. But over the weekend, some interesting things, and I want to transition this question in a Bermuda context as well, right? A very important thing that's happened. So Philadelphia, which is in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia to become the first major U.S. city to ban police from stopping drivers for low-level traffic violations. So you might say, well, what does this mean? What is a low-level traffic violation? Low-level traffic violation could be was it Philando Castile, who was in
Yes.
Minnesota, and the police pulled him over for a broken tail light, right? That's a low-level traffic violation. He was eventually killed by that police officer for no apparent reason, to be honest. He
Shot 6 times, I believe it
yeah,
was.
right. And so
Yeah.
laws like this are being made all over being made in certain cities and counties. And Philadelphia is the first major city to do this. So basically what the article says, while Philadelphia is the largest city to ban such traffic stops, some local and state governments have also enacted similar policies. In September, Ramsey County, Minnesota, announced prosecutors will no longer pursue cases, right, against people who are unfairly targeted and detained during non-public safety stops. Now, there was a gentleman, and I just want to find it here, who basically says they see both sides, right? Now, in one breath, and just to be clear, and that's why we're going to the question this morning, is the question is, do you believe police officers should be able to pull over drivers for minor offenses? Now, in a Bermuda context, right, one of the challenges Bermudians have going to work is sometimes police have these traffic stops where they're checking, different cars and people just want to get to work, right? Could be tint, stuff like that, tint. What do you think, though? Do you believe that pulling someone over for a tail light or a broken tail light, or like Sherry just said, tint, right? Do you think these are the kind of things, or because they didn't signal, do you believe that these kind of offenses should be, I guess, eliminated or not of interest? Because there's another side that, well, how do you monitor the law then? If it's against the law, are you just saying that people should be able to just go about their business regardless of the law? I mean, it's interesting.
Well, you know me, Jamal. I always have a mixed view and an opinion because I try to look at all the different sides. So
Mhm,
while I get that the premise is most times that these offenses are to do with Black males,
mhm,
that they seem to be the ones that are targeted all the time. It is
mhm,
also the other fact that many cases and many situations have been solved or intervened by that being simply of a tail light being broken, then you find a dead body in the back of the car, or a child that is being trafficked, or
mhm,
somebody, doing something wrong based off of just, a possible tail light being broken. So, you have those different facets of it. Like if thank goodness that happened and a child was saved.
mhm,
But it's all over the place in the sense of can we do that and it not end in murder?
mhm,
Can we do that and it end in a situation that is helpful? Can we do that and a police officer, as you've seen sometimes, have taken
mhm,
somebody to Walmart to help them purchase some things? Can we have
mhm,
more of a community approach to it rather
mhm.
than it being what it is? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know also in Philadelphia was at one time taking it to a different point where Meek Mill, remember that, where he was
Mhm.
probably in the this, and then he was in jail for 3 or 4 years,
Well,
or
that was in New
that was
York where I
pending.
think he did. That was in New York where I believe he
Was
popped,
it
and then yeah, but he was on parole or something like that.
Peru?
So
Yeah,
that's what, yeah.
but
But no, no,
still,
I see your point, and I think to I'll use Laverne Amanda Kelly. She comments, give warnings first and an opportunity to correct issues. But Ms. Kelly, that by giving the warning, you're still pulling the person over. So this is why I move on to Nachika Trot, where she actually says, police cars have cameras, take a picture and send ticket in the mail. So I think this is a solution to it, right? A solution is instead of pulling someone over, right? You have the right to take a picture of the license plate, run it, send a ticket. There's no need for the not altercation, but the whole, anything that can lead to something that has kind of become the norm with these, police stop and frisk, or if you want to call them that. Now, in a Bermuda context, I want to understand it like from Bermudians, because there are a lot of frustrated Bermudians when it comes to going to work mornings and they're pulled over because the police are doing, their checks. How can we do better in a Bermuda context? Like, what is there a way to do better? Do Bermuda police cars need the technology where they can scan or check for those things?
it's hard to say, Jamal, because it is two different contexts, right? And
Mhm,
as Nachika said, that was a good idea. You have out here, of course, they you run a stoplight, they take a picture, like they got three. As soon as you do is,
mhm,
you got three different points of view, and they send you a
mhm,
ticket. Bermuda, yes and no. It works for running a light. It works for this type of things, but it's hard to say in the context of the speed and part. Where
mhm,
can you put the cameras? How can if a police officer is behind you with a camera, are they then seeing that they're chasing you? You know what I
mhm,
mean? So if if anything, I do like the give warnings first and the opportunity to correct an issue for Bermuda.
mhm,
You know what
mhm.
I mean? For
But I think,
Bermuda with that.
but the income, and I think you're absolutely right. It's very different. In the U.S., these incidents tend to end in life loss. In Bermuda, it tends to result in inconvenience. With
Yeah.
the warning part, it still doesn't eliminate the inconvenience part in Bermuda, where you've got people who are commuting to work, and that's no way to begin. Like, let's think of it as a Monday morning. That's no way. I guess the overall question is there a better way to policing the community? And let's go to the comments. Carla, John, for you.
For issues like broken taillights and tint, can't they run the license plate and mail the ticket to the home?
Mm,
The- Yes and no, because if you're talking about tint, you need proof of it being the percentage that it's not. You know what I mean? So I don't know, sometimes it's evidence and stuff, like a broken tail light, yes, or
Mhm,
the insurance or the car not being licensed. But then for, again, Bermuda, that car
mhm,
shouldn't be on the road. If it is,
mhm,
then it can involve an accident and it's the trickle-down effect.
mhm.
So it like Bermuda is so it's difficult.
But can't they not have some sort of technology where they can scan, maybe to say the tint's too much? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, they have technology for everything else. There's got to be something for that. Rashida Godwin says the issue with the American police system that has its historical makeup embedded in a structure of racism towards blacks, and that needs to be addressed and rectified first and foremost. And I mean, I think many people would agree with you, Rashida. I think
Yeah.
many people would agree with you. You know, I'll be very honest with you. I think that any black person in particular would have great concern, man or woman, being pulled over by police in the United States of America. We're not talking about just history. We can talk about recent history. Now, people can say, "Oh, we only know this because of what's highlighted and what the media focuses on." Well, if the media didn't have it to focus on, then we wouldn't. You know, it wouldn't. If they didn't have to focus on, then
And
it's
this is
happening.
the and this is the thing. I got pulled over. I mean, it all worked out. I'm here, right? But got
Mhm,
pulled over probably in September, and it was coming back from on a trip, and the police officer pulled us over, and then he was like, the reason that he did was that he couldn't see into my car. Now my car is black. I have legal tint,
mhm.
and they said they couldn't see into the car, and just wanted to check if we had our seatbelts on and had everything. And it was like a little weird in that sense, because I'm just like, but I think you can see in here. But okay, I'm not doing nothing wrong, so all right. But I did get a sense of like, let me just keep my hands on the steering wheel, just keep my head. It's a sense of fear out here. But
Mhm.
I just think he pulled over just because, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Cher is in Atlanta, folks, when she says "out here," just so you have
Oh,
reference.
sorry.
Um, Rosalind Famous says, "So then, is it just a question of the time of day when people are pulled over?" That is a fair question. You know, when are these incidents taking place? Because it probably, you know, if it's a daytime and it's a crowded street, you know, is something less likely to happen? I think that's a fair question. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah, it is. My incident was daytime. Still don't know why he pulled me over, but it that does take things into context. You know, is it daytime, nighttime? Where is it? Is it a area that is seen to be, a high crime area? Like all of those kind of things get into consideration. But it again, it's taking it back to what you said, Jamal. Like for Bermuda, what can be the solution for police officers not
Oh,
to do that, and
and I
then we
think
have the cultural thing of knowing that person possibly.
I think it goes back to what Assistant Commissioner Daniels said last week. I think someone in the audience may have said that, you know, you need to start banging doors down and this and that. And he reminded us that police cannot approach things like they once did. There's a thing of rights these days. You know, and we need to find a balance because while I agree with people having rights, I don't want to see anyone's rights trampled on. There's thresholds for everything. You know, if someone is putting the rest of the community at risk, if their safety is at risk, then yeah, we need to bang doors down. We need to make people feel uncomfortable. But to just randomly do it I think is the issue that we're trying to
Yeah.
avoid when we speak about violating people's rights. And here's a question for the audience. I want to yes or no in the audience. A lot of Black Bermudians in particular, this is aimed at you. When you go overseas and rent cars, do you drive with a sense of fear of being pulled over? Yes or no for the audience,
Mhm.
Black Bermudians in particular. Do you drive with a sense of fear? Now, while we wait on that answer, I'm going to share something with you. I've been pulled over once, um, knocking on that wood, once, and this was about, I was working in radio up in Rhode Island, and I want to say this was 2006. I was at a gas station and got pulled over and well, I was at the gas station pumping gas, and I saw a police car across the street. You know, another gas station over there, and pulled me over when I left the gas station. And I'm like, "Well, what's he pulling me over for? I ain't do nothing." So this is a true story, what I'm about to tell you. So on the news, I watch people. I used to watch the news back then. I watch the news to stay up to date what's happening. And on the news, like that same week, they had reported that the DMV has been issuing double license plates. So what that means is, let's say I have a car and I sell it, and then I can't cancel my license plates, and then Sherry buys a new car and she gets a new license plate. Well, because I hadn't turned my license plate in yet, but they gave Sherry my license plate number, right? Now, when I finally do turn my license plate in, right, they now record it and then issue that same number to somebody else. So two people driving with the same number. That's what the news story was. They told me that my license plate did not match my car. And I'm like, how does it not match my car? And I showed them everything in the car. Obviously, as a black person, you better have everything in your car with you. I showed them, like, this is how much I paid. This is the receipt, everything. Well, I'm telling you, like, got rude with me. I'm telling you it doesn't match. And I'm gonna do you a favor. Drive home now, or I can take the car. And I'm just like, okay, first off, why were you even running my tags while I was in the gas station? If I were an elderly white man, would you have been running my tags? Right? So much is going through my mind. But it all went back to, regardless of what you believe I did wrong or your system was telling you I did wrong, which I did nothing wrong, why were you running my tags?
Right.
And that's what makes me uncomfortable about the entire system. Faith DeRosa Gilks, Sherry.
If they can't have the current cameras working properly, it would be a stretch for something like this to work out. Our Wi-Fi would have to improve island-wide. Interesting.
As far as whether Black Bermudians feel comfortable renting cars overseas, Angeline Butler says no. Nicole Walker says no. Michelle White says no. Tommy Shaker says, if I drove in the US, yes, but not in Canada or the EU. Michelle White says, no, I'm more worried about road rage than people drive crazy. The Chica Trot says, with the increased cases in the US, I am more conscious in US, more alert. And we'll wrap it up with Angeline Butler saying, my experience of being pulled over in the US has not been negative and no tickets issued, just warnings, and even helping me get back on the busy highway. So interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any particular time of day or place that you refuse to drive because of your safety?
Well, yeah, some areas, but I don't know. I've lived here on and off for so long. It's just being comfortable. I think I just use the same approach wherever I am, and it's to keep my doors locked and be alert. At any gas station I go to, my car automatically, when I put it in park, unlocks the door. While a cool feature, I don't like it. So as soon as I do it, I lock my doors back. So it's just being aware of your surroundings, and I just tend to do that wherever I am.
Indeed. Well, look, let's wrap it up. We've got Chef Trevor in the background. He will be joining us. It's World Vegan Day. Any vegans in the audience? Like, I mean, you're not vegan, are you, Sherry?
No, I'm not. But I, like I said, have eaten his food, and I'm still on the fence. Still like a steak.
You're still on the fence. She like a little cow every now and then. All right, folks. Leanna is out today. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be back with Chef Trevor. Oops, I didn't mean that. Just teasing you.
This month, we're bringing back an old favorite distributed by John Barrett & Son Limited. A thirst-quenching European treat, Orangina, made from orange, lemon, mandarin, and grapefruit juices. Orangina brings us the flavor of the Mediterranean in a distinctive pear-shaped bottle. Orangina originated in France in the early 1930s and is now one of the world's favorites. A natural thirst quencher containing real fruit pulp. In fact, the makers of Orangina recommend we gently shake the pulp to enjoy the full fruity flavor. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, myself, Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Looks like we have a plant-based person or two in the audience. Terry says, I am plant-based, but might go vegan after watching Seaspiracy. I know a lot of people changed after watching, what's the doc? What the Health?
What's the Health?
And now I'm afraid to see Seaspiracy because I like me a piece of, grouper or snapper and a little shrimp and a little something in my diet. So I don't know, Terry. I think I might avoid that one. Real quickly before we bring Chef Trevor in, interesting comment. I once saw a comedy special that talked about being black and having a non-US accent, i.e. British, resulting in different treatment. Actually, I've spoken about this many times on this show in particular, that there are, if you heard about the groups FBA, Foundational Black Americans, or ADOS, what they call it, American Descendants of Slavery, they actually speak of that stuff often, how black people are not born in the U.S. or have U.S. accents benefit more than they do. So this is not something that goes over my head at all. So, I push the Bermudian a bit more. Good day, sir. How are you doing? All right, cool. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just going home right now. So, it does help, folks. It does help once they know you're not from around here. Without Fred, what are you laughing at? You don't do it, Sherry? You don't try it?
I just talk normal, and that already, sparks an interest. Like, where are you from? I'm just like, oh gosh, here we go.
She's a girl, folks. She's a girl. She's a girl. That's what they say. She's a girl. She probably, hi, sir. How are you?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do for smile. Anyway, let's bring Chef Trevor in. Good morning, Chef. How you doing? Excuse me. How you doing, brother? All's well?
Good. How's it going?
Pretty good. So let me just touch on something. So folks, if you don't know, as we stated, today is World Vegan Day. So World Vegan Day first occurred, get this, not only is Sherry older than World Vegan Day, I am too. And I believe Chef Trevor is too. Because the first World Vegan Day occurred November 1st, 1994, as a way of commemorating the 50th anniversary of the UK Vegan Society, indeed the term vegan. So that be the history that I, had to Google last night.
You're so boring.
Yeah, I'm that person. But Chef Trevor, welcome to the show. We saw you on Good Day Bermuda, and Shanta said, since it's World Vegan Day, we've got to bring you on here. But speak to us a bit about, before we get into the plant-based and vegan stuff, what inspired you to choose the route of becoming a chef?
Okay, that was something that started in 2005 when I was at the college. And my first semester, I was in business administration and was just like, I'm sitting there in class and I'm just like, this ain't for me, man. I can't do this, right? So I went to my advisor and she was like, okay, well, Trevor, what do you like? So at the time, I was just like, I like to eat. I like food, right? So she was like, well, you should try culinary arts. And then that next semester, I enrolled into the culinary arts program at the college, and that was it. 16 years later, and I'm still here.
That's awesome. You weren't always a chef that focused on the vegan industry. Tell us about how you became a vegan chef.
Okay, now that story was sort of, I guess you could call it fate, I guess. So before I moved back to Bermuda this time, right, about a year ago, I was living in Barcelona, right, Spain. I was there for 6 years, and I sort of just happened to come across the documentary, and the first one sort of sparked my interest on it, and I started to like really dig deeper into that rabbit hole of information and documentaries and lectures and sort of following certain plant-based doctors that do a lot of amazing things around the world. And then, like I said, from there, it was just, I started picking up books. And once I started picking up books, it was just like, okay, I can't go back to how I was. And then I started feeling better. Like I started losing weight and I started feeling clean. But like your body starts feeling clean and your mental clarity. And then I decided to do a plant-based nutrition course from Cornell University online, and that was like the nail in the coffin. The nail in the coffin. And like I said, once the education came, it was sort of easy to sort of start taking stuff out of my diet slowly. It was a process. I didn't do it overnight. And for most of us, chicken was a very hard thing to let go. It was very hard, but like I said, the education and once you know what these foods do to you and how your body reacts to it and the long-term effects of eating a lot of these animal-based foods, it was easy.
Okay, Trev. Well, I
Yep.
have tasted your food, so it is very good and can make me go that way. But how have other Bermudians responded to your vegan dishes? Because, like I said, they are wow.
I mean, surprisingly good, and like this sort of wasn't part of the plan coming back to Bermuda and doing these meals. I sort of just during quarantine when I was stuck in Barcelona, I started to just experiment in the kitchen and start just posting stuff. And then people started to contact me from Bermuda and was like, yo, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. So by the time I came back, I sort of already had a few clients, right? But now it's it's growing and people give me a lot of feedback. And like I've done dinner parties and stuff like that where I would hear people mumble, I don't know about this food. I don't know if I'm gonna eat it because it's a negative perception about vegan food, period, right? That it's boring, it's just salads and tofu, right? But it's not, and you can do so much with plant foods. And then, like I said, people just started like being completely surprised. Like I've had people come up to me at the end of a dinner party and be like, yo, to be honest with you, I was doubting this food, but if someone could cook like this for me every day, I could be a plant-based vegan easy, right? So that's normally the answers that I get now from people when they're sort of on the fence about the food and stuff like that. So obviously to me that's a great thing because this is what I want to educate people that this type of lifestyle, you can have fun and you can eat food that is flavorful and tastes good, and it's better for your body and it's better for the planet as a whole, right?
Mm-hmm. I love to hear it, and you mentioned how your body felt. Tabitha Brown, she's the influencer that I love to follow, and she just spoke about she was having some pain, doctors couldn't figure it out, so she just changed her diet, and all of a sudden everything changed for her.
Inflammation, man.
Yeah.
Inflammation.
And for me, personally, I stopped eating like direct dairy at beginning of 2018, and I do things in phases. I stopped eating beef and pork back in the 90s and so on. But there's this thing that I want you to clarify today. People often say vegan doesn't necessarily mean healthy. What advice would you give to people who want to maintain a healthy vegan or plant-based diet?
I would say look at it from a percentage point of view, right? So you're right, vegan doesn't necessarily mean healthy. You can be a junk food vegan and be overweight, right? So that's why I prefer the term plant-based, because that basically states what I eat. So I get the majority of my calories from a plant-based source. So that's why I say look at it from a percentage, right? So for me, for example, I know that I'm getting 90-something% from a plant-based source. Every now and then, I might treat myself to like a piece of fish, a local fish or something like that. But that's, once every few months or so. You know what I mean? So, for those who feel like they can get into that 90th percentile, that's okay. As long as you're focusing on getting more plant foods, which will be obviously fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, seeds. There's a variety of stuff out there, and it's really not that expensive. So let's bust that myth right now that vegan food is expensive. It's really not. Trust me. I've been a chef on both sides. When you start buying more whole foods, it becomes a lot cheaper. When you start buying more vegan processed foods, that's when it gets expensive. And of course, if you go out to eat and you try to eat vegan, it might be a little expensive. But we have to start cooking, man. We have to start putting our health in our own hands and not waiting to go to the doctor for them to prescribe you something that's probably not gonna cure what you got. It's probably just gonna hide the symptoms anyway.
Yeah, real quickly, I just want you to explain a bit further. You honed in on so many important things just now, but the idea that eating healthy is more expensive, right? Is something that and whole foods versus things that they say vegan, and I want you to explain that because obviously here in the U.S. there's a store called Whole Foods, so you kind of understand it's getting the real
I used to
food
live
and
there.
it's not exactly right. So
Yeah.
let's explain to people what you mean by that who may not know whole foods versus others.
Okay, so whole foods are basically foods in its natural state, right? Foods without ingredients. That's basically what it is, right? You go to the store, you buy bananas, you buy peppers, there's no ingredient list on it, right? That's a whole food in its natural state. So the more of that you get in, the better. And it's cheaper. I know in Bermuda it is expensive, and then there's the topic of organic and that and that. Yeah, it does. But I mean, for the average person that doesn't buy organic, you could go to Linda's right now and get a pound of black-eyed peas for like $2.35, and you get some rice and you can get some mushrooms and some peppers and tomatoes that aren't expensive, and you can feed your family off of that. And it's really not that more expensive than buying chicken and buying steak, and obviously it comes with a lot more health benefits, right? Plant foods are more nutrient dense, and animal foods are more calorie dense. So that's basically it, man. And it's a myth. It's a myth, man. I'm telling you.
Well, let me just piggyback off of that as well. When you talk about going to cook and doing things, I have cooked a few dishes that are vegan, right? And
Right.
like when you talk about whatever, Jamal, when you talk about doing like cheese and stuff, the cashew process within itself is just a lengthy process. But this is where you come in because you also do meal preps, and I've tasted
Right.
your meal preps, and they are awesome. Everything he does is fresh. What other services other than the meal preps do you provide? And in addition to that, what is your love for the meal prep?
I do catering, small catering jobs, and private dinner parties and stuff like that. The meal preps, I like them. They're great, but that's sort of not where I want to be. I mean, it's a starting point. You know what I mean? And it's a good way to introduce this type of food to people. My ultimate goal is to have a restaurant, and to have a restaurant at high quality, and to exhibit this type of cuisine in a way that most people don't think is possible, right? And I know it's possible because I've lived in the States, I've lived in Europe, so I've seen it at a high end, and it's a beautiful thing, man. And just to bring a different perception, just to bring a better option to Bermuda right now, and just like that, just to have that, because it's hard to eat as a plant-based vegan in Bermuda, and you go out to eat, and there's only certain places that really have one or two options, and then after a while you get tired of them, and I don't really see a lot of creativity with these type of foods. So I mean, like for me, that's what I feel like my purpose is to eventually get to a point where I can have a very, very high quality restaurant and exhibit these foods in a way that people just like, whoa, I never thought that plant-based food can taste this good, can look this good, can be presented this good. You know what I mean? So that's sort of what I feel like I'm here to do, my purpose.
Trevor, you know that you cannot take meal prep away and how that will affect my household. I just want you to know. My Bermuda household, that cannot happen. How do you plan to recognize World Vegan Day?
Just for me, every day is World Vegan Day or plant based. So I continue to try to inspire people to take a different look at, and to sort of step away from this cultural norm, right? And whether I do that through interviews or podcasts or just having new people on my mailing list and trying different foods, we really have to sort of step away. What I like to say, we need a nutritional evolution. This old way of eating, it's it's taking us to a place where we are sicker than ever, and us as Black people, period, across the globe, we're sicker than ever. Heart disease, diabetes, cancer, they're still the leading causes of death worldwide, and we need to do something about it. We need to step away. We have been culturally conditioned to and marketed like a you know what I'm trying to say, right? that these foods, that we need these foods, these certain foods, these animal foods, meat and dairy and all this stuff to be healthy, and it's led us into a place of sickness, right? So this is what I try to do to inspire others is speak up, and not only speak up, tell my story, because I'm a testimony of it, right? I made a switch as a chef, and living in Europe and around so much beautiful food, and I made a switch, and guys thought I was crazy. I started bringing my own food to work as a chef. Who does that, right? Even though I would be making the staff lunch sometimes, and I wouldn't even eat it, right? So it got to a point of of discipline, and it's beyond me. You know what I mean? It's about now I have to use myself as a vessel to to inspire my people to start looking at what we put into our bodies.
Wow. Well, like I said, it's just like about her being in Atlanta, how Pinky from Slutty Vegan had her burger take off and all of that. I heard is really delicious. So if a burger can taste like a burger, then somebody's doing something right. how, how can our audience get in touch with you? I know where to find you, but how can others
Right.
find you?
Stalker.
Whatever. Neighborhood.
Neighborhood, yeah. Instagram and Facebook, plantbasedfuelbda.com. Email eat@plantbasedfuelbda.com. And yeah, send me some messages if people are curious on how to start, or if people need ideas or questions. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, but I am a chef first, and I do have a little bit of knowledge in plant-based nutrition. So just hit me up, and I'll try to do the best I can to help you out.
I want to go back to the you were being very kind in your language, but I'm not going to be so kind because we had Latoya Bridgewater on last year in November, I believe, and she spoke about this. She called it what it is, the slave diet.
Yeah.
Black people in particular.
I was going to touch on that.
Yeah, and I was like, I want you to feel comfortable just being direct, and I think we are on that. Me in particular, I'll just be honest. I wanted some Chick-fil-A fries once at the end.
Right.
My wife was like, no, like we've had too much bad food. Like we can't keep eating healthy and then offsetting it with bad food. And so, she checked me on it, right? And then we just ended up going and getting Japanese, I believe. But the point I'm making is, I do eat a lot of healthy stuff, but then I want fries, and then I want things that I know are not good for me. And I think it's more or less making a decision that, as you stated, you either pay now or you pay later, right?
That's it.
That's pretty much it. I mean, Tamara said it in her movement moment on this show numerous times. If we pay now, we don't have to deal with the consequences and have to pay later as well. But easier said than done, Chef Trevor. And what I want to see is, what can we do on this show to continue to inspire people to live healthier and live better?
That's a good question. I would say, it's pretty simple to me, man. The more plant foods you put into your body, the better. And it's not about losing weight.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about that. You know, most of these diets that you see nowadays are all tailored around losing weight. It's not just about losing weight. It's about longevity. It's about vitality. It's about getting to a point where you get up in age and you're still mobile. You know what I mean? It's not about living to 100. It's about getting up in age and you're still mobile and you can play with your great grandkids and you can run around and you can swim and you know what I mean? This is what this lifestyle. This is what I promote. Right now, not to go off topic, but right now I'm reading this book. It's called The Blue Zones, right? So for those who don't know what the Blue Zones are, it's the small pockets of the world that have the highest population, over 100. It's a few of them. There's one in California. There's one in Okinawa, Japan. You know, and how their diet and lifestyle is intertwined. You know, so that is a perfect example of the more plant-based foods that we eat, the better, because the majority of their diet comes from a plant-based source. I'm not saying they don't eat meat, but the majority of it, and they're very active up until 90s and the hundreds. Most of them are farmers and stuff like that, and they walk 5 miles a day and this and that. You know what I mean? So let's use them as an example of how to live our lives. You know what I mean? Because it's you know, look at them. You know what I mean? They're vibrant unto 100 sometimes. They're still out there in the field. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm not saying for people to be farmers, but you know, but it's just using them as an example. We have to eat right. We have to move more. We have to show more love to people and compassion and be around people that make you happy and people that inspire you. That all intertwines with your health, right? So that's something that I would say, you know, for you guys as well. If you know, if you do want to promote stuff like this, is to sort of just, you know, sort of get that message across to people.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
got a lot
I'm gonna go.
I want to get through there.
I'm gonna do my step aerobics today. Gosh, Trevor.
Let's get to the questions though, real quickly. I'm running out of time. Shikaran is asking, is there any point to being a Monday to Friday vegan and then eating meat on the weekends, asking for a friend?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, don't be too hard on yourself, right? Don't try to, oh man, this weekend I messed up. Don't relax. You know, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't try to do everything overnight, right? You've been eating this way all your life, right? And most of the time, people that try to go cold turkey, their body reacts sometimes in a negative way, because you know your body's probably got so much toxins in it that your body's trying to clean it up. So some people feel weak, some people get headaches and migraines, and then they say that this lifestyle is not for them. But that's not the case. That's just because your body is trying to get rid of all that bad stuff, right? So slowly take your time. If you have to do a Monday to Friday thing, cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Stick with it. And you know, if you do want to take it further and start making it a whole week thing and or whatever, or a month or whatever, that's good for you. You know what I mean? So just start out small and don't put no pressure on yourself.
Go to another question. We have Rosalind Famous. She's asking, not sure if the question was asked, is there a difference between vegetarian and veganism?
Yes, it's a big difference between vegetarian, veganism, and plant-based. Vegetarians could include some fish in the diet, could include some dairy in the diet as a vegetarian. Vegans basically means that they don't eat any animal products. But then, as we stated before, you can be an unhealthy vegan, right? So, and plant-based just means that the majority of my calories come from a plant-based source. And that's sort of more what I like, because I like to tend to aim towards more of the whole foods, right, rather than the other stuff.
Philip Trutt says, my wife was just telling me that not buying meat makes your grocery bill lower. So it's like alcohol for me.
I mean, it can. I mean, like I said, it all depends on what you're buying. If you're buying that processed stuff, it can get expensive. If you go to the grocery store and you just buy grains, fruits, and vegetables and nuts, it's not going to be that much of a difference. It's not. And I've like I said, I've done it. So It's not. And I've done it in Europe, and I've done it in the States and in Bermuda. So it's basically the same. It's not too much more higher than the other one.
Yeah, with the price of meat being like much higher right now because of whatever reasons during the pandemic, it'd be a great time to look at some other options. Just saying. Teresa Ann Marie says, sounds great. Very little meat, dairy, and seafood in my diet, but I often struggle for meat variety. Could use some recipes. So make sure. Where can they follow you again to get some ideas, Chef Trevor?
Facebook or Instagram, plant-based fuel at plantbasedfuelbda.com, or email me at eat@plantbasedfuelbda.com.
All right. And I'll encourage Chef Trevor to go on to our Facebook and YouTube and just to share his information so you all have it as well. Michelle White says, maybe collaborate with Tamara Donnell and share alternative options to the slave diet. At Christmas, I need to have, as Bermudians say, shadish. I still don't know how we say shadish, but it's my red beans and rice. How can I get the same flavor with seasonings?
Oh, man, that's easy, man. It's easy. If you want some type of smoky flavor or shadish flavor, liquid smoke, barbecue sauce. I do a really good pulled jackfruit barbecue sandwiches or wraps, or I do pies. It's just about, man. Google, YouTube. You can go on YouTube and find anything and any recipe. I mean, that's basically how I started. I started going online. I had ideas, and I know it's different for me as a chef point of view. I have a little bit more variety of experience with food, but you could go online and just, how do I do this? How do I make this, a little bit more flavorful or whatever? And it's easy, man. There's people out there that are doing amazing things.
Interesting.
Those pies are the truth. Those pies are the truth.
Well, no, I definitely would love to have you back around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, just to get some ideas of how people can create, and that's a good question by Michelle, a healthy meal around these times, because let's be honest, a lot of people stack on the pounds during this time of year. I make it no excuses. That's me all year round, but that's another show. But there are ways to be healthy in doing this. We've had Jamaica Smith on the show before, who turned vegan, her and her spouse, after, I believe she said, watching What the Health a few years ago. And she's always on her social media sharing, she had vegan fish cakes during Good Friday, and always being very creative. So we would love to have you back to discuss some of the things that can help people who are trying to make that transition, especially during a time like that.
For sure. Anytime.
All right, Chef Trevor, thank you so much. And honestly, to all those out there who are trying to, improve their life, I want to highlight what he said. Don't go cold turkey. Don't rush yourself, because
don't rush yourself,
folks.
Everyone's different. So you just got to do it in your own time, man. As long as you stay consistent, that's the most important thing.
Indeed. Chef Trevor, thanks again, and we'll be in touch with you, my brother. Have a great one.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All righty. Chef Trevor there with the good conversation, sharing
his food. I'm telling you, it's a great alternative to everything. Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, found the information helpful, you know what to do. Give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We have to share these kinds of conversations. Our community, the health of our community, depends on the information that we discuss. I'm going to put Sherry on the spot. Sherry, you said his food was so good. You said that, right? But it didn't inspire you to go plant-based full-time, Sherry?
Not yet. I tend to, when I'm home, because he does do a lot of meal prep for my household, tend to eat that. Sometimes I will put, I hope he can't hear me, a little fish with some of what he makes. But I don't know, I am that meat person. I do love, fish. Sometimes I like steak once in a while. So it's not that I can't, the consistency part. I have cooked vegan meals, I know what it takes to do it. And it's preparation is very key to maintain that as well. It is a process.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to weaning off some things, but I like a little crispy bacon, Jamal. I like a little steak, medium,
Folks,
Christmas ham. Oh
we
my
have to
gosh.
run, so I think this is a perfect time to wrap it up after today's conversation. Let's go through a few comments real quickly. Rosalind Famous, the Bermuda pronunciation of Shadish comes from our contact with the Portuguese community and language. It mimics the Portuguese word for sausage. She's taking it slow. So Nakia Samuels is in your corner.
Thank you.
Chica Trot says, not just during the holidays, but we're working from home and sitting in front of the computer. The pounds come quickly. Don't I know? Yes. So we're going to take a break and end it on this here. Carla Johnson, every time I eat out at a vegan restaurant, I'm still hungry when I go here. Come on now. That's not supposed to happen, Sister Carla. But let's take a quick break. We've got to come back with the daily play that Sherry is trying to avoid, folks. Do not go anywhere. Like I said, if you enjoyed the conversation with Chef Trevor, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these important, healthy conversations as well. Stick with us.
I have my three children, a 27-year-old and an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old. I have to balance it out. I actually even stopped working Monday to Wednesday just so that I can put in time for the products and I put in time for my family. Because for me, my family comes first over anything. You know I have to run my business so that we can eat and everything, but my children come first. I let them even play a role when I'm making my products. Come on, get up. You can come help me mix it. Come help me put the label on it. So when we talk about inspiring your daughter or your children, I make my children get up there and see what it takes to run a business. Come on, Suri. This brand, Suri Shea & Co, is named after you. So you need to help me. You're gonna come, you can do this, put the labels on for me. You can do it. Even my little 4-year-old, I had him do it. Mommy, let me help. So I just let them help, and it teaches them the way.
Sherry, you have a friend.
Yes, Teresa.
Oh, yes. Bacon is still my favorite. Thanks again to Medical House One Communications, Lindo's People's Pharmacy, for ensuring we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As stated, if you appreciated Chef Trevor and his plant-based information today, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and make sure wherever you're tuned in at, yes, I said tuned in at, make sure you share what we discussed today. But it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Sherry, are you ready?
Come on, Jamal. Let's get this over with. Come on.
Over out, folks. It's a Who Said It. Here we go. Quote is, "It always seems impossible until it's done." End quote.
It always seems impossible until it's done. You're serious? Can I get a hint?
It was an activist and politician.
I don't know. Barack Obama? No. He's not an activist like that, but he is a politician. But
African president.
Oh, Mandela. Did I beat somebody?
You might have come up short against Terry and David. Yeah, no. Yes, Nicole. That's her music now. I told her this morning. This weekend I worked on it. This morning I worked on it. This weekend I said I'm gonna get Sherry some music, right? And I showed her, and she wearing in prep, folks. She drew something at me this morning when I played it. I said, "Here, you got some new music for Daily Play." She threw some stuff at me though.
But I got it. I got it.
You got it after the buzzer. At the buzzer. We could go back to the tape and replay it, but I got it. Any bets you got it after the buzzer?
No, because
No. Anyway, lady, what's final thoughts on today's episode?
Well, trying to come up on some, real viable solutions for Bermuda in regards to being stopped by the police, is definitely something that has to have more conversation, and more something more behind it, so that it's relevant and that the community can still be policed. In addition to Chef Trevor, as he said, just take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
I am still, open to the idea. I'm not closed off from it. I make great portobello pizzas. I can do these things. It's the consistency for me. It's consistency. So I just hope that everybody got what they needed from him, and do some more research and look into it.
Yeah, indeed. I think I'm grateful for the conversation with him. I love having those kind of conversations. It's really about taking the information and me doing what I need to do. So yeah, I look forward to it. I'm not going to give myself a timeline or a date, but
yeah,
I'm trying to make the transition myself into that space. I think it's easier said than done for myself. I just have to remember that chicken and seafood. There are other options. That's really all I eat. Any daily inspiration for us before we head out?
Yes, it is. And I want to say good morning to my nephew before we get off, because he said, "Hi, Auntie." So I got to say, hi, Ravi. Have a great day at school. And my sister. The inspiration for today, perfect. The only time you fail is when you fall down and stay down. And that's Stephen Richards. He's an author. But that coincides with, our consistency.
Get your ass back up, folks. That's all it is. No worries. So look, thanks again to you all. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we were to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we will be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman, my friends. Please do make it a great day. Peace.